Hello. Nightingale, The Nightingale, became the best-selling fiction December 20th, 2015. So this is my 9th book review. 9? This book is set in World War II in France. So I'm being a little goofy, but this book is very, very serious. Honestly, it's sometimes it's really hard to read because it's so sad, emotionally difficult to get through certain passages because you just feel, I felt really terrible for what was happening. The whole book is about these two sisters. The one is a little bit more mature and has a daughter named Sophie, which I think that the author here, Kristin, she should have picked a different name for this character because it kept making me think of Sophie's Choice, which is a movie about, also in World War II, and the character ends up having to make a very difficult choice regarding her daughter named Sophie. They just say something like, it's a really hard choice, and then Sophie, and it just reminded me of that, which, this book kind of reminds me of Schindler's List sometimes. This quote pretty much is the whole point of the book. It's very early on, too. You read too much, Christoph said, chewing on a stalk of hay. What is that, a romantic novel? She rolled toward him, snapping the book shut. It was about Edith Cavell, a nurse in the Great War, a hero. I could be a war hero, Christoph. He laughed. A girl? A hero? Absurd. Well, the girls in this book are heroines, and the one girl she's the Nightingale, not like Florence Nightingale, but her last name means Nightingale, and she has this sort of like secret operation that she kind of stumbles into, not exactly, but it's her deal, and she is sneaking pilots out of France, over the Pyrenees, through Spain, that have been, stranded in France and Paris, I think more specifically, Royal Air Force pilots, American Air Force pilots, and she just helps them get out. And then her sister, on the other hand, and there's some friction with them. They kind of butt heads a little bit, but they love each other. And the sister she hides people, and she's got a lot of character development. The story actually opens up like in Oregon, on the coast of Oregon, and it's like a really old lady in 1995, and she's thinking back on her life. And every once in a while, it sort of flashes forward. I guess it's technically all a flashback, but, most of the story, 95% of it, is in France between the two sisters, and it goes back and forth between them. And then it kind of jumps ahead to the one sister. Parts of it remind me of a book called We the Living. Food rations and, people falling in love with people maybe they shouldn't, or just how crummy it was. And crummy is such an understatement. I mean, the conditions that they had to live in were just really, really crazy. There was one point towards the end of the book when I actually got emotional reading because it was so sad what was happening. There really was a lot of good stuff in this book. It was a pretty solid book. It's been highly rated this year as one of the better fictions of 2015. It's a coming-of-age story. They definitely didn't reinvent the wheel with this one. Sorry, my camera ran out of space. So I wanted to just quote a couple things. I wanted to get that one quote on there. The book sometimes it reminds me of my grandma, because I guess it is all like a flashback from an older lady who was in World War II. And my grandma, she lived in England. She's from England. My grandma's English. But she was in England during the war, so she probably, I know she has stories that are kind of like this. She was very young, but she still remembers the stuff that happened.
Yeah, this was the quote I was trying to get. It was the kind of thing she heard all the time. It circled back to her looks, as most snide comments did. Surely a pretty blonde girl had to be shallow and dim-witted. So, like, there's a constant theme of female empowerment in this book that I liked. You know, where it's like girls can change the world, and the kind of stuff that people go through during war. And I don't know, I hope that I never have to live through anything like that. So far, so good. Okay, so I feel like I sound a little, like, unimpressed with the book. And truthfully, I liked the book. I thought it was really good. The thing is, it's World War II. I don't want to say I love World War II. I think World War II is fascinating. And I've seen so much to do with World War II. And so it's hard because it's about an important topic. I guess for me, I would recommend it to you if, well, one, if you just want a good book to read. And I guess especially, like, if you haven't seen a lot of those movies I mentioned, or if you haven't read a lot of books about it, you know, then this is a great story for you to read. I mean, it was really well done. You can learn a little bit more of what it was like to see World War II from inside Europe. And that is something that was unique for me, even, because just to hear what occupied France was like, and, you know, it's a kind of a controversial topic because the French had a puppet state set up, the Vichy government, that was very much beholden to and did whatever the Nazis wanted, you know. And there's a lot of people who really are not happy with France to this day because they feel that the French just went along with whatever the Nazis wanted. I guess this story makes the case that it wasn't that simple. You know, sometimes they didn't have a better option. You know, they did what they had to survive. To me, that was probably the coolest thing about the book, because I hadn't read that. So I sound not that crazy about it, but it was actually really good. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. I almost gave it 5, but yeah, I don't know. I could see someone giving it 5. So yeah,